Super Rugby Trans-Tasman Team of the Week for round number 1. Got the Blues jersey on, got the Blues bias fully set and ready to go. Great thing about Trans-Tasman is we have 10 teams to pick from. Aotearoa and AU Team of the Weeks were kind of, straightforward or at least less competitive because only 2 games in each competition. This week we got 5 games, 10 teams. Most are represented. You can probably guess which team does not have a player in the round, but I will do a few honourable mentions as well because that's the nature of the beast with so many different guys getting snubbed by me that a few guys deserve mention as well. But anyway, we'll go through 15 guys and you guys can let me know how you reckon. With loose head, I've gone with Big Carl Tuinukuafe. Now, his stats are only really key in one area for him, and he's a big old prop. He was helping to absolutely monster the Rebels scrum. Go look at the second try. I think it's Satutu scores, basically 5 meters out from the Rebels goal line. How the Rebels scrum just gets pushed back, Elof gets popped up, and then Satutu's just got a doddle to tap the thing down. That was largely the work of Tuinukuafe. His stats around the park, a tackle and a turnover. Not much else. So call that the Blues bias. But man, if you're a prop, scrummaging is your number 1 job and you will not see many more lopsided displays than that one. The other prop I've gone for is someone who does have better stats around the park, and that's the Waratahs, Harry Johnson-Holmes. Believe it or not, managed to get a Waratah on the board. They scored almost 50 points, largely with him scoring 2 tries. 2 tries for a prop is a good effort. He's got a real knack of just burrowing in over the line, which not every prop can do. But I think he was the second highest scoring prop in AU, so he's kind of continued on that form. 2 tries for him, 21 run meters and 10 carries, huge work rate. And actually, he's got a decent tackle rate with 10 from 12. The Waratahs guys struggled, so he still misses 2, but in the scheme of things, that's actually not too bad. A clean break, which is ridiculous, and 5 passes for Harry Johnson-Holmes. Still relatively young. I think he's like 24 for a prop, so still plenty of development to come from him. Hooker, I have gone with a Highlanders man. Oh, wait, doesn't need an S. I think Highlanders. Ash Dixon. If you only had 2 of them, you'd be even better if there were 2 Dixons, but there's only 1. 2 tries for him as well, as their maul continued its really good work against the much vaunted kind of Reds pack, but the Highlanders did a good job. 6 carries for him leads to 30 run meters, big shift. He has a clean break as well. He has a defender beaten as well, and 6 passes. The line-out operates at 92%, and he manages a whopping 17 out of 17 tackles. But believe it or not, he's only the second highest tackler for the round with his 17. Locks, I have managed to chuck in a guy from the Western Force in Jeremy Thrush, and he's had some good numbers all season in AU as well and continues on that form into Trans-Tasman. He has 13 carries, which leads to 15 run meters, which is not huge numbers by any means, but locks tend to average just around about a meter or so per carry. He beats a defender and has 6 passes, 9 from 10 tackles, also a pretty good work rate as well, because remember, the Force had like 60% of the ball, so their guys were making a lot less tackles. He also manages a turnover, and he also managed 8 line-out wins, which aerially is the best equal for the week, so a key man in that Force line-out operating successfully. Get that Blues jersey back on as we go with old Josh Goodhue in the second row as well. He finishes with a try assist, believe it or not. It was a pretty straightforward one. He had like a line break assist for Tuioti as well, but 23 run meters from 6 carries, 8 passes, and that try assist for that final try that just pops it up from the back of the ruck. 9 from 9 tackles for him. Also manages 4 line-out wins, which is the top guy for the Blues, and a line-out steal in a time when line-out steals weren't that easy to come by. So proper shift from him as well. All right, we've already got 2 Blues guys on. How many more can we go for? Lucy's from the Crusaders. I have gone with Ethan Blackadder. Ethan Blackadder. He's been good all season, to be fair. He has got a huge work rate and it continues. He manages a try really early on. He gets 61 run meters, which for a Lucy is pretty bloody good numbers from 7 carries. He beats 4 defenders and gets 2 clean breaks, which is, as I said, very destructive numbers. And I don't know where he is in the pecking order of things, but he's got to be on the fringes, surely. I know the All Blacks have got loads of good Lucies, but he's really up there, especially seeing as he's been staying fit for quite some time. 6 passes from him as well. 14 from 16 tackles makes him the top Crusader in terms of the work rate. I told you the work rate's there, and it's reflected in the numbers. He also wins 2 turnovers, and he also has 2 line-out wins, so proper good shift from the man with a famous name. I saw somebody saying on social media that name is just too badass, but when I think of Blackadder, I think of Rowan Atkinson. Maybe I'm just old. What else have we got? We got another Highlander. Open side, I would say Billy Harmon, man. Guy who used to be a Crusader, left to get more minutes, and he is impressing. 42 run meters from 8 carries from him is like solid, without being hugely spectacular. Just the 1 clean break, just the 1 defender beaten. So that's great, but again, not the best numbers you've ever seen. Not as good as Blackadder's numbers, albeit a different position. 7 passes, but 25 out of 26 tackles. I honestly think the next, from the scouring I did of the numbers, the next best was 17, and that's Ash Dixon. So to get 25 is just bonkers, man. What a shift. Top guy in the round. Absolutely huge shift from him. Really good to see him impressing as well now that he's down in Dunedin. Let's keep going with that Blues train, people. I've put in Hoskins Tutu here as your number 8 for the week. Caps off a great performance with 2 tries. 2 tries, one of them on the back of that scrum, admittedly, but he's still got to make that decision to control the ball with his feet and then pick it up, go over the line. 39 run meters from 12 carries, beats 3 defenders, has a clean break, has 12 passes, makes 6 from 7 tackles, wins 2 lineouts. The only thing he doesn't really do is get a turnover, but overall, man, Hoskins is putting in a proper good shift. I'm starting to think we're a little bit too hard on him, but I'm going to give him credit where it is due, and I think it is due here in this one. So those are the forwards. Honourable mentions at the end. Halfback, I've gone with another Highlander in Aaron Smith, and kind of like my prop choice with Tui Nukuafe, there's not a heck of a lot about his stats which blow you away, but man, his distribution is just still top notch. His pass is just still wicked. He does finish with a try assist, which is a great little stat, and he's got a ripper of a pass. Still, he can pass it for miles. 65 passes, 8 run meters from 4 carries, has a clean break, 3 from 4 tackles, makes 6 kicks, 3 turnovers conceded as a black mark if you are looking for something to worry about. Remember, he played like the majority of the game, 70 plus minutes, so for him to have a couple of turnovers conceded, or 3 in this case, is not... I mean, he won't be happy with it because he drives himself pretty hard. But, yeah, not the end of the world for Aaron Smith, and I still think he is a huge part in driving his team forward. The team do not look quite the same without him. Now, I'm starting to think maybe I should have had a Highlanders jersey on with the amount of Highlanders I'm picking, because I'm going Mitch Hunt, number 10. The Highlanders train just keeps going on. Mitch Hunt definitely had the better of the 2 sides in that game against the Reds, and he's not kind of that big name player as in terms of like a James O'Connor or a Richie Mo'unga, like at the international level, but at Super Rugby level he continues to be really consistent and really good. I mean, his goal kicking can be a bit hit and miss, but in this case it was more hit than miss, fortunately. 47 run meters, 10 carries is a really good return. 11 passes, 5 defenders beaten. He makes 17 kicks, so a good balance. Interestingly, he's kicking more than he's passing, and he's carrying almost about the same amount as he's passing as well. So it's an interesting kind of balance in the game plan. 5 defenders beaten is great, though, for a guy like him. Not usually as known for it. 5 defenders beaten, you're thinking more Mo'unga, but in this case it's Mitch Hunt. 5 conversions as well is also a key one, where maybe some other guys this week were a little bit let down by the goal kicking, but he did that well. 3 from 4 tackles. Everything to like about Mitch Hunt's performance at the weekend. Midfielders. I've gone with a Chief at last, and I have put Alex Nankerville. Maybe again, like in terms of the reputation, he's the lesser known of the two Chiefs midfielders with ALB outside him, but he still finishes with a try. Pretty good hands. 33 run meters from 8 carries. Again, it's not a huge number of run meters. It's like half of what Ethan Blackadder got, but still solid. But remember, the Forces' defense, unlike some of the other teams this week, was actually pretty solid. 3 defenders beaten and a clean break. 3 passes, 11 from 12 tackles, so defensively very solid, and wins 2 turnovers. I think great little all-round game there. Maybe he could get a bit more ball, but remember, they didn't have that much ball. So it's hard to look at his ball in hand stats and compare directly with some other guys this week. Other midfielder, I've gone with a Kane in old Billy Proctor. Again, not one of the bigger names of the week, but I think he's still putting the shift, and it was looking like it was one where the tackling was kind of optional, but his stats in that department are actually pretty good. Remember, both sides were a wee bit lackluster in that area. 2 tries for him, 69 run meters from 8 carries is great in the context of that game. It's maybe just okay because, as I said, like neither team was defending that well. 3 clean breaks, 3 defenders beaten, 11 passes, 7 from 7 tackles, and a turnover 1. So if there's one guy who can put his hand up as having a pretty decent game defensively, it's old Billy Proctor. Outside backs. Interestingly, it's a little bit of a mix with a Hurricane on one wing. One guy I've been talking up a lot, and kind of like Satutu. I think I will continue to do so based on what I've seen anyway. Celeste Reasi, 172 run meters. You will not find anybody who gets close to that this week. He is the top guy by not quite 100 run meters, but at least 70 odd. I think the next best were kind of in the low hundies. 18 carries, so he was getting a lot of ball for a winger. 9 defenders beaten and 6 clean breaks. You can see why they were giving him the ball, because he was just getting huge go forward. The Tars wingers in particular, maybe defensively let the side down, you would have to say. The forwards on the Tars looked alright. The backs were the ones largely with some long looking in the mirror to do. 13 passes is again huge. He has a try assist too. He doesn't get a try of his own despite those massive numbers. 2 from 3 tackles. He does have 3 turnovers conceded again if you're looking for kind of a black spot on what was a pretty good but not perfect outing from Reasi. 2 more spots, and I've gone with, maybe it's a bit of a controversial one seeing as he came on as a sub, but I've gone with Vunivalu from the Reds. Now, I mentioned it in probably the match review that I didn't know that much about this guy, convert from league, watched his highlight videos from league, and virtually every highlight, 80% of them, were just him jumping in the air, getting a high ball and scoring a try. But man, he is so good at that. He is unbelievable. I knew it was coming, and you just can't do anything about it. He comes off the bench and scores 2 tries. 2 tries. He still manages 46 run meters from 6 carries, which is great. A clean break and 3 passes. He does have none from 1 tackles and a penalty conceded, so it's certainly not a perfect outing. But talk about X factor. To score 2 tries from the bench in the same way, you know it's coming, and you just can't stop him. You just can't get that high. It's kind of reminiscent of Israel Folau, how he used to be able to just win those aerial contests. I mean, he's still not the finished article, but damn, that's a heck of a weapon to use going forward if the Reds and potentially the Wallabies choose to do so. Last one, speaking of the Wallabies, it's this man, Tom Banks, scored a bit of a wonder try for the Brumbies. He racks up 109 run meters. Largely, at least half of them in that try, man. He went virtually at least half of the field, right? He has 9 carries, beats 4 defenders. At least 3 of them were in that big run. A clean break, which is definitely the try. 3 passes. He doesn't have any tackles, none from none, which is maybe a black mark if he's not in the right place to make tackles. But 12 kicks as well. He is vital in everything what the Brumbies do, and was part of their comeback, which almost led to a draw, but not quite. So yeah, there's 15 guys. A few honourable mentions. If you're looking for a rebel, maybe you would go with Big Marika Korobedi. I know he still didn't score a try, but he managed like 60 odd run meters, put a big old hit on Nepo Laulala. So yeah, he was the guy actually fighting, despite the fact that his team was getting a bit of a shellacking. From the Reds, Uru was pretty big at the back of that pack. He had like 60-odd run meters. Jake Gordon for the Tars was bossing the side around. He finished with a try and a try assist. Angus Bell, also from the Tars, finished with 52 run meters, and he had 7 from 7 tackles. So the forwards, as I said, for the Tars were putting in a proper shift. So if you want like pure around the park stats, chuck Tuinukuafa out and put Angus Bell in at loose head. Julian Savia from the Canes finished with 2 tries, beat 7 defenders. His tackling was kind of in the mode of that game, right? 4 from 8. It's not the best return, but you know, if you just want to go pure like right winger for 2 tries, you can maybe chuck him in there instead of Vunivalu. Who else you got? Mo'unga, he scored a bit of a wonder try of his own, individual brilliance, but his goal kicking was maybe a bit wayward. It could have cost his side on another day. Havili as well for the Crusaders was really a key linchpin in everything they're doing going forward. But 5 missed tackles from him and 4 penalties conceded is like, if he has one or the other, I can probably check him in, but not with both. Akira Ioane comes off the bench for the Blues and scores 2 tries. Him and Rico Ioane have some pretty good going forward ball. Kahui has some good effort from him on that right wing for the Force. Ian Pryor came off, got a couple of try assists from the bench for him. Tupavai got some pretty good go forward ball numbers for the Chiefs. Highlanders, I think you guys are already pretty well represented, so I'm not going to go honourable mentions for you guys, but there certainly is some. But, yeah. Did I say from the bench? For a lock, Vai had some pretty good numbers. Missed a few tackles as well, but anyway. Yeah, team of the week, as I said. Pretty fun. Trans-Tasman, lots of games. Not just 2 to pick from, 5 games. What a weekend of rugby. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Do drop a like on the video if you got this far through. Chuck some names in the comments as to who you guys may have had in a team of your choice. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.